This meeting is being recorded.
ISLAM, Islam, Muslims, Islam. Just saying the word means peace to me. Islam, Muslims, Islam. Now I's for independence, S for our salvation. L means love for everyone, all over the nation. A is for Allah, the Father of the universe. M's for Moorish Americans and Muslims, which are us. ISLAM, Islam, Muslims, Islam. Just saying the word means peace to me. Islam, Muslims, Islam, who lifted fallen humanity. Noble Drew Ali, who opened our minds and eyes to see the reason for unity.
Hey, how you doing?
Science
All right. Don't let me stop you.
is where
All right.
we learn the truth. Brothers and sisters should all attend. Be sure to bring the youth. ISLAM, Islam, Muslims, Islam. Just saying the word means peace to me. Islam, Muslims, Islam. All rise. Face the east. Feet at a 90-degree angle. Raise 5 fingers on the left hand, 2 on the right. Repeat the Moorish American prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
The Father of love.
The Father of love.
Truth. Peace.
Peace. Freedom.
And justice.
And justice.
Allah's protector.
Allah, my protector.
My guide.
My God.
And my salvation.
And my salvation.
By night.
By night.
And by day. Through his holy prophet. Drew Ali. Amen. Islam. First, I rise and give praise to the great God Allah, the Almighty, eternal, incomprehensible, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I give high honors to his illustrious prophet, the last prophet in these days and times, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, born in the state of North Carolina on January the 8th, 1886, love made manifest, savior of humanity. I give high honors to all the true and divine prophets of Allah, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, etc. I give honors to the forerunner of the prophet Jesus, Brother John the Harbinger, purity made manifest. And I give honors to the forerunner of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, Brother Marcus Mosiah Garvey, taught the Asiatics that they had one aim, one God, and one destiny. I give honors to this Moorish Science Temple of America, this Moorish divine and national movement in North America. I give honors to all of its leaders, past, present, and future. To our past supreme moderators in this section, Brother C. Kirkman Bay, Brother F. Nelson Bay, Brother J. Blakely Bay. We give honors to our past Grand Sheikh Moderator, Brother R. Leviel, to our present Grand Sheikh Moderator, Brother R. Jones Bay, to his assistant, Brother A. Hopkins Bay. We give honors to all officials of the Moorish Science Temple of America, national, state, and local. We give honors to all Grand Governors and their assistants. We give honors to the Grand Governor here in the state of New York, Brother D. Clark Eel, and to his assistant, Brother A. Gaines Eel. We give honors to all members, all sheikhs and sheikhesses, and divine ministers of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and give honors to the Grand Sheikhess here in Moorish Science Temple number 34, Sister Cecile Zeal, to her assistant, Brother W. Clinton. We give honors to all wayfarers, all seekers after truth, all tillers of the soil, and all generous souls. Give honors to all those who are striving for the uplifting of all humanity. Give honors to our two flags, to the American flag, the flag of our birth, with its 50 stars and 13 stripes, to the Moorish flag, the flag of our descent, which is a red flag with a 5-pointed green star in the center. And those 5 points represent the 5 highest divine principles known to man: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. It is taught to us by our holy and divine prophet that our flag is over 10,000 years old. It's even said it is over 50,000 years old. And I give honors to our charter, with its 10 wonders and mysteries of the world, which give us the right to practice, promote, and propagate the faith of Islamism in America without molestation. Give honors to everything that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali brought and taught for the uplifting of fallen humanity. And give honors to each and every one of you, who as a man honors man, he honors Allah, When man does for man, he does for Allah. Islam?
Islam.
At this time, I read the laws of the Moorish Science Temple of America. First, I'd like to turn your attention to the divine constitution and bylaws. Salvation, Star and Crescent, our God, all-seeing eye, unity, and Christ. The Moorish Science Temple of America, the divine constitution and bylaws. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be opened and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is a holy day of rest, because on a Friday, the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday, the first man departed out of flesh and ascended into his Father God, Allah. For that cause, Friday is a holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are part and partial of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. We are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and partial of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America, then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children. Look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God, Allah. Noble Drew Ali, founder, Moorish American prayer, Allah the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. Let's take a reading from the 7 Acts, the divine constitution and bylaws of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Next, I'd like to turn your attention to the great meeting is on. Koran questions for Moorish Americans. We're taking a reading from page 7. Questionnaire and additional laws for the Moorish Americans by the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Act 1. Grand Sheikhs and governors and heads of all temples, all businesses. Each said temple must be approved by the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, before acting upon by any members. Let it be finance, property, or any line of life that will cause the members to sacrifice finance, etc., that will cause the support of any group of members. Any former officer that violates these laws is subject to be removed from his office under heavy restriction, etc., by the Prophet or the Grand Sheikh. Act 2. All members are to attend their adept meetings and their public meetings promptly. If a member is found standing around in their meeting period, shall be fined 50 cents on the first case, and on the second, he will be fined $1, which will go on your emergency fund. If members working, his monthly dues must be paid. he has money in the bank, he must subscribe for as much as he is able to the Moorish Uplifting Fund, because it takes finance to uplift the nation. 3. It is lawful and divine duty of every good member, if he is able in finance, to aid me in saving the nation. And if he does not, he is an enemy to the cause of uplifting his own people, and justice must catch him. Let it be he or she, according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, as I have the power invested in my hands, and I often enforce the law in order to save the nation. Act 4. All members, while making a public speech, must not use any assertion against the American flag or speak radical against the church or any member of any organized group, because we are to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Act 5. All members must promptly attend their meetings and send their children to Sunday school, and the teacher must confirm himself to the questionnaire, and let every member exercise his 5 senses who is able to do so, because out from your Sunday school comes the guidance of the nation. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. We are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, Black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Abu Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become part of the uplifting fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Ali, through the guidance of his Father God, Allah. Let's take a reading from the 7 Acts, with the questionnaire and additional ones for the Moorish Americans by the Prophet Noble Ali. At this time, I'd like to turn your attention to our holy literature, the Holy Koran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Circle 7. Islam? Okay. Sign sheet. Oh. I'd like to turn your attention to the Holy Koran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Circle 7, divinely prepared by the noble prophet Ali, by the guiding of his Father God, Allah, the great God of the universe, to redeem man from a sinful and fallen stage of humanity back to the highest plane of life with his Father God, Allah. Know thyself in Allah, the genealogy of Jesus, life and works of Jesus in India, Europe, and Africa, in the land of Egypt. This time I'd like to take a reading from page 34, the Divine Instructions from the Holy Prophet, chapter 23, Holy Instructions for thy children. Consider thou art a parent, the importance of thy trust. The being thou hast produced, it is thy duty to support. Upon thee also, it dependeth whether the child of thy bosom be a blessing or a curse to thyself, and useful or worthless member to the community. Prepare him early with instruction, and season his mind with the maxims of truth. Watch the bent of his inclinations, set him right in his youth, and let no evil habit gain strength with his years. So shall he rise like a cedar on the mountains, his head shall be seen above the trees of the forest. A wicked son is a reproach to his father, but he that doth right is an honor to his gray hairs. The soil is thine own, let it not want cultivation. The seed which thou sowest, that also shalt thou reap. Teach him obedience, and he shall bless thee. Teach him modesty, and he shall not be ashamed. Teach him gratitude, and he shall receive benefits. Teach him charity, and ye shall gain love. Teach him temperance, and ye shall have health. Teach him prudence, and fortune shall attend him. Teach him justice, and he shall be honored by the world. Teach him sincerity, and his own heart shall not reproach him. Teach him diligence, and his wealth shall increase. Teach him benevolence, and his mind shall be exalted. Teach him science, and his life shall be useful. Teach him religion, and his death shall be happy. Islam? The fallen sons and daughters of the Asiatic nation of North America need to learn to love instead of hate, and to know their higher self and lower self. This is the learning of the Holy Koran of Mecca for the teaching and instructing of all Moorish Americans, etc. In the Holy Koran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, know yourself and your Father God, Allah, so you may learn to love instead of hate. Every man need to worship under his own victory, the uniting of Asia. Praise Allah, praise Allah, praise Allah. Meaning is not open according to the Prophet's laws. Let's say Islam. Islam to each and every one of the Moors who have joined us in person here at the temple, and honors to each and every one of the Moors who have joined us as well online. I'd like to give honors to each and every one of the Moors who woke up this morning with the thought of Allah, the Prophet, and the temple on their mind. And honors to all those who wish to have traveled, who wish to have joined us today, but are unable to. And I pray that those who are in transit have traveling mercies from Allah and their safe arrival to their destination. At this time, I'd like to call on our assistant Sunday school instructor, Sister J. Jordan, so that she may be able to conduct this portion of the Sunday school class. I say peace.
Islam.
Islam.
Someone rise and give the prophet, the noble Salih, give honor to the prophet, Brother Harvey, and to all true and divine prophets of Allah, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius. I give honor to all of the past and present leaders of the Moorish Science Temple of America, giving honor to the past Supreme Grand Advisor and moderators, Brother C. Kirkman Bey, Brother F. Nelson Bey, Brother J. Blakely Bey. I give honor to the former Grand Sheikh and moderator of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Brother R. Lev Eel, and to the current Grand Sheikh and moderator, Brother R. Jones Bey. I give honor to all national, state, and local officials and their assistants in their offices and stations, past and present. Giving honor to our Grand Governor of the state of New York, Brother D. Clark Eel, and to his assistant, Brother A. Gaines Eel. Giving honor to the Grand Four, Sister Cecil's Eel, and to the Assistant Grand Sheikh, Brother W. Clendenin Bey. I give honor to our chairman, Brother I. Smith Eel, and to his assistant, Brother C. Ferguson Eel. I give honor to our financial recording secretary, Brother S. Sulemu Bey, and to our treasurer, Brother L. Serrano Bey, and assistant treasurer, Brother F. Spalding Bey. I give honor to all of the sheiks, all of the members, all of the guests, and all of the listeners who will be watching this even at a later time. But lastly, I give honor to all of the remedies, literature, to everything that the Prophet brought. Islam. At Islam Moors, I am going to be conducting Sunday school today. Brother Osman Bey was not able to teach today, and so I will be covering. And so we are going to have each of you do your praise and honors when you answer instead of doing it collectively. So if you can do a brief praise and honors when we go through the questionnaire. So we're going to start through the whole questionnaire. I'm going to put it on the screen. I see we have a lot of people on the line, and so I'm going to put it on the screen in case someone does not have a questionnaire handy. So I can share this, and then we'll go from there. So long. There we go. It's all this way, so that could be a little bit bigger. I just like to be mindful of those who might be traveling or unable to, don't have a questionnaire handy. And so I'm going to ask for the Moors to participate and hopefully be able to answer some of these questions. If you are unable to participate, feel free to just let me know and I'll move on to the next person. So I'm going to start, let's see who's here today. Praise Allah. I want to thank all of the visitors. I see here we have Let's do this list a little better. Here we go. I see Sister A, M, and Brother J. Ravenel Bay. Praise Allah. I see Sister B. Williams Eel, Sister S. Sakina Bell, Sister B. Williams Eel, Sister E. Jones Bay, Sister K. Bass Bay, Brother W. Brockenberry Bay. See Brother Y. Cyrus Eel. Praise Allah, Islam. Brother Y. Cyrus Eel. Brother G. Williams Eel from Temple 21. Praise Allah, Islam. Grand Cheek. Brother A. Mitchell Eel. Brother Amir Tariq Shango L. Praise Allah. Brother F. Spalding Bay, Islam, Brother Spalding Bay. Sister C. Seals Eel, our Grand Sheikah is on, so praise Allah. Brother I. Smith Eel, I believe, is in the temple. And Brother Smith Eel, if you could tell us who's in the temple so we can know who's there completely.
Islam. Praise Allah. So right now in the temple we have myself, we have the Grand Governor, Brother D. Clarkian, we have Brother N. Rashid Bey, and then, dear brother, remind me your name?
J.R. Higgins Bay.
Brother J.R. Higgins Bey. There's and Brother K. Williams, yeah, that's right. Brother just walked out. So we have 5 in the temple.
Praise Allah. Well, Islam.
Praise Allah.
Islam, so the temple and all the members on the screen. I'm going to go through the Quran questions for Moore's children. And I'm going to ask, let's go, for those of you who are online, let's start with Sister, I believe Sister Ravna Bay. I'll let you decide if anyone of them wants to start. We're going to go through the questionnaire completely. So, Sister A. Ravna Bay.
Islam worship Americans.
Islam.
Islamists give honors as a family first. We rise to give praise to Allah.
Rise to give praise to Allah.
We give honor to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali.
We give honor to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali.
We give honor to everything that the chairman gave honors to.
We give honor to everything that the chairman gave honors to.
We give honor to everything pertaining to Islam.
We give honor to everything pertaining to Islam.
Islam. We'll start with Brother J. Ravno, but he's the younger one.
Okay, beautiful. Praise Allah. Islam, Brother J. Ravenel Bay. How are you today?
Islam. I'm doing good.
How's school?
Good.
Good. What grade are you in?
10th.
And so I have a son, Brandon. He is in the 9th grade, and you two actually met at a prophet's birthday one year. So I'm excited because at one point I'm hoping to get you guys together. And I have a picture of the two of you meeting. It's just beautiful. So praise Allah. Okay, so off with number 1. Who made you?
Allah.
Who is Allah?
Allah is the Father of the universe.
Can we see him?
No.
Where is the nearest place we can meet him?
In the heart.
Who is Noble Drew Ali?
He is Allah's prophet.
What is a prophet?
A prophet is the thought of Allah manifested in the flesh.
What is the duty of a prophet?
To save nations from the wrath of Allah.
Who is the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America?
Noble Drew Ali.
What year was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded?
1913 AD.
And where?
Newark, New Jersey.
Praise Allah. I just have one question for you. When they say the nearest place you can meet him is in the heart, what does that mean? What do you think that means?
I think it means the nearest place like you can talk to him is through the heart, because when you're talking through the heart, you're very genuine and truthful.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's when they use the heart. It's kind of more of like a symbol of like genuine, not genuine, but like yeah.
Being real.
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful, and I'm glad you said that, because
Peace.
and please, thank you for your submission. I think that when it's one thing we can't do is hide what's in our hearts. Allah sees straight to the heart, so he knows and sees. I think that's a beautiful, just a beautiful thought right there. So, Sister Rabin Bay, our poet, praise Allah, Islam, beautiful sister. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Okay, where was Noble Drew Ali born?
In the state of North Carolina, 1886.
What is his nationality?
Moorish American.
What's your nationality?
Moorish American.
And why are we Moorish Americans?
Because we are descendants of Morocco and born in America.
For
Or
what,
born in America, sorry.
for what purpose was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded?
The uplifting of fallen humanity.
How did the prophet begin to uplift Moorish Americans?
By teaching them to be themselves.
What is our religion?
Islamism.
Is that a new or is that the old time religion?
Old time religion.
And what kind of a flag is the Moorish?
There's a red flag with a 5-pointed green star in the center.
What do the 5 points represent?
Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
It's all ours, sister. I have one question for you. What grade are you in?
I'm a freshman in college.
How fast that happened. Praise Allah. Oh, goodness, that's beautiful. Um, I actually have another follow-up question, if you don't mind. I was wondering, do you think it's easy to tell people, or how do you feel when you tell people, or if you do you tell people you're a Moorish American?
Yes, all the time.
And how do they respond?
There's always questions like, oh, what is that? Or if I start by saying my religion's Islamism, they immediately think that I'm Muslim. So I always kind of have to differentiate.
Mhm. Praise Allah. I think that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. It's one thing for us to know our questions and then memorize them, which we do, and then we go out there, but we all have to deal with the world, right? We go back to school, we go back to work, even in our own homes, if there are people that are not practicing more science. So we've got to figure out how to communicate it to them. And that is one thing I'm really big about is finding ways to communicate with others, breaking it down in a simple way. And so I want to thank you for your portion. Thank you for participating. And that was really helpful. So praise Allah. Sister Ravenel, Sister A. Ravenel, okay, since I have you there.
So, of
Do you mind answering a few questions?
course not. Sunday school,
Praise Allah. Oh, I love this. I can't wait to see you again next Sunday. Praise Allah. Which is our holy day?
Friday.
Why?
Because it was on Friday in which man was formed in flesh and was on Friday when he departed out of flesh.
Who's Jesus?
He was a prophet of Allah
Where was he born?
in Bethlehem of Judah in the house of David,
Who were his father and mother?
Joseph and Mary.
Will you give in brief the line genealogy through which Jesus came?
Some of the great fathers through which Jesus came are Abraham, Boaz by Ruth, Jesse, King David, Solomon, Hezekiah, and Joseph by Mary.
Why did Allah send Jesus to this earth?
To save the Israelites from the iron hand oppression of the pale-skinned nations of Europe who were governing a portion of Palestine at that time,
How long has that been?
about 2,000 years ago.
What was the nationality of Ruth?
Ruth was a Moabitess.
Praise Allah. I was wondering if we go back to our holy day, what would you be willing to share with us what you do on a Friday, what it means to have a holy day on a Friday? Like, do you do anything different? Or some of us are, still working or in school, but what would you say differently or mark? How do you mark the holy day?
That's a beautiful question. Well, because it's our holy day, one of the things that I try to focus on, or I've always tried, is to you see so many others have such high regard for their holy day, the way the world is set up. And so now that I'm where I'm at with my work now, I try not to work as much on a Friday. I try to ensure that I'm able to reserve time for Allah, be able to try and focus on ensuring that I'm able to, um, read my Koran and try to just tap into to being more spiritual on Friday. I think that's very important. As we see in other cultures, other places, some people they don't work. They don't, it's a day of rest for them. And I think every holy day, and including ours, that we need to give it special honors to that. And then even if the world isn't set up in that way, we try our best to be able to do that. And of course, make your meetings, give praise and thanksgiving to our Father God Allah. by singing songs of Thanksgiving and praise. So, but that's one of the things I try to do is try to remove that day of the rest of the world as much as possible as I can. I try not to cook on Friday, um, because I think that's a day that Allah has, that the Prophet has told us and taught us what it was for. And so I try to do the best that I can, as much as I can, to be able to preserve that day. Peace.
Yes, praise Allah. The question, I asked that question because, on the holy day on Friday, I wonder what, I'm always curious what the other Moors are doing. And I really do try to keep that day peaceful and quiet. And as soon as anything happens that's like crazy or, I just try to tone it down and remind, this is the holy day. So hopefully that helps. So praise Allah. We're going to focus in on question 26, where it says, who were his father and mother? And you answered Joseph and Mary. And before I go on, I'm going to take a look at 27 when it said, will you give in brief the line genealogy through which Jesus came? I'm going to actually pivot. I'm going to open this up to, give me 1 second to share. I'm going to open this up because the chapter from today is on page 34. Praise Allah, Temple 34, and chapter 23, Holy Instructions for Thy Children. So I wanted to pose this question to the Moors, and let me just take a look at who's online. Praise Allah. This question that asks about the line genealogy, and thank you, Sister Radnabe, and the entire family. I want to thank you for participating in Sunday school today. And I'm going to open this up to all of the other Moors in the temple and online. Brother Ismithiel, I'll count on you for letting me know if anyone in the temple raises their hand. But I have a question. I do ask a lot. The first question I have is, why is that important to know the line genealogy? Like, why even put that in here? That's open to anyone. You can raise your hand. Sister Ravna, I see you on the screen.
It's not, well, I first thought the question for me, but okay, it's for anyone. But it's important to know our genealogy because, as the Prophet had told us, that I'm going to try to find it here, that we need to understand. I'm going to misquote this, so I'm sure some more will come behind me and say it. But here it is. There's no one who's able to change man from the descendant nature of his forefathers, unless his power extends beyond the great universal creator Allah himself. That's on page 58. And it's important to understand what your ancient forefathers were, you are today without doubt or contradiction. So by understanding who your forefathers are, you get to understand a little bit of who you are. You understand the challenges, you understand some of the great things that they have accomplished. You may understand things that you might be more interested in. And so by understanding who your forefathers are, it helps you to understand the capacity of what your people are. And particularly I think it's important for us as Asiatics to understand that because we have such a great history and legacy. And we also are very responsible, as our prophet tells us, for the key of civilization was and is in the hands of the Asiatic nations. So it was and it is. And if we're going to be the key of civilization in the future, we need to understand what did we do in the past. And so it's very, very important to understand that. Peace.
Yes, that was well said. Thank you so much for that portion. And it's true. We need to understand. And that brings us back to last week's demonstration. We were talking, our Sunday school lesson, we were talking about the instruction in chapter 23 when it talked about wicked son is a reproach to his father, but he that doth right is honored to his great peers. And my point in reading all of this, I was thinking last week, I mentioned that how can we teach our children to do all these things if we ourselves have not learned it yet? And so today we're going to talk a little bit more about this chapter where it tells us all these things we need to teach, what they actually look like, and how we're going to do this, because this is a workshop and we have work to do. So I'm going to take I also wanted to give honor to the Sunday school instructor, Brother El Serrano Bay, for Temple 34. He's on the line. I want to make sure to say Islam to him and to any of the other Moors that joined after we did. Brother K. Richardson, I see you there. Praise Allah. Honors to you. Praise Allah. So just remember to give praise and honors before you speak, but I'm going to go into the chapter. Usually we read through the whole questionnaire, but I really want to get into this and focus in on this today. So Holy Instructions for Thy Children, page 34, chapter 23. Consider thou art a parent, the importance of thy trust, the being thou hast produced, it is thy duty to support. I don't think we need to say much about that, Morris. Okay? I'm not even going to get into it, but some things I feel like sometimes I read and I think, why does the prophet have to, like, why do we have to say this? Like, this should be just obvious, but yes, we do have to say it. Upon thee also it dependeth whether the child of thy bosom be a blessing or a curse to thyself. Upon thee, not upon them, upon thee. It depended whether the child of thy bosom be a blessing or a curse to thyself. So can you guys give me an example? Any of the Moors want to give an example of a child that's being a blessing? Just an example of it. It doesn't have to be real life. Please don't use your children if they're on online. But feel free to give examples of just a child that's a blessing. Brother El Serrano Bay, and then Brother Esulina Bay. Praise Allah.
Islam.
Islam.
First I rise and I give all praise to the great God Allah, I give honor to his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, and I give honor to everything that pertains to Islam. You know, when I think about, especially about a young brother, in particularly, how young brothers are seen in the community, how they were seen when I was growing up, how they're seen now, what does it look like in reference to whether they are a blessing or a curse? You know, if we go into even to instruction number, I believe it's number 20, which is a warning for all young men, when it basically, you know, paraphrasing where it talks about young brothers. It says, beware of all the allurements of wantonness, right? So just that participation in being unruly, destroying the community, you know, for the lack of better terms, you know, taking things that do not belong to you from people. And so in the opposite, I think about, you know, a young brother who's might be helping an elderly person up the stairs, crossing the street, helping maybe older woman bringing groceries into the home, just making sure that they're vigilant when it comes to certain aspects of their community. Peace.
Please. Thank you. That's those are good examples. And I think about that a lot. I was 13 and one that's 14 now. So two young boys and so many things. I think as a mother of boys, it's they say having a daughter is one thing, but having sons, like I worry just the same. So praise Allah for that. Brother W. Brackenberry, bet you had your hands up. Did you take it down or did you want to say anything?
Yeah, I was just first I'd like to rise and give praise to Allah and the Father of the universe and give honor to his prophet, Noble Drew Ali, and everything pertaining to Islam, everything that the chairman gave honors to. I just wanted to answer your request to say how a child could be a blessing to their parents. I was gonna say just by giving them the insight, I guess, to know what it is to be a parent. You know, like a parent doesn't know, it doesn't have the opportunities. You know, I feel as a parent just being blessed to have a child to just have the opportunity to be a father because it's not readily given, you know, sometimes. So with that, I yield.
Praise Allah. You reminded me of a comment I made last week was my mom used to say, you'll understand better when you become a mom, when you become a parent. And I understand so much better now that I'm a parent. The choices, the decisions, just everything. It's a lot. So honors to our parents and reflection. So thank you for that portion. Brother Esulema Bay, you had your hand up.
Islam. First, I rise and give praise to Allah. Highest honors to our illustrious Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Extend the honors to all things that pertain to Islam. Praise Allah. Islam, I look at it really like a child being a blessing. One way is when a child or my daughters, or the way they understand certain things about society and the world that the Prophet intended for us to understand. When I hear them speak about nationality, right? And I know that they like to my daughters and a lot of young people, they like to look at a lot of like different, what we would call, let's see, what we would call like K-pop, right? So they have like a lot of like Korean pop groups that kind of resemble like hip hop groups from the older days or whatever. And they have their new styles and things like that. And when we speak, and they're like, oh, their nationality, they're not Japanese, or they'll correct me and make sure that I'm saying their nationality correct, right? Oh, they're Korean or they're South Korean. And then for themselves, when it's time to understand the nationality of Moorish American, to see them on that level, because the Prophet wanted us to be to step into the affairs of the families of nations. So nations throughout the world, they all acknowledge their nationality, and to see like Moorish child, what I'm saying, recognize that, to me, that's a special thing. Peace.
Peace. Thanks a lot. Before we go on to the next point, Brother F. Spalding, I see your hand raised. Did you want to speak?
Yeah, Islam. I give praises to Allah, honor to the Prophet, everything that pertains to Islam. So when I think of a child being a blessing, we have the example of Jesus in chapter 5, or even we have this example of Jesus in chapter 2 of how when he was being sought after by King Herod to be destroyed. His parents had to take flight, and he was taught in the sacred groves by Elihu and Salome. Well, his parents were, and he by extension was as well. But then you go into chapter 5 and you see where they had made a journey into Jerusalem for a celebration, and he had went missing. So that was, cause for concern for Mary and Joseph. In fact, it was a 3-day um, cause for concern. And then when they finally found him in the temple, and they said, why would you do this to us? And he says, don't you know I must be about my Father's business? So even though we know that Jesus came to the earth with an express purpose to save the Israelites from the iron hand oppression of Palestinian nations of Europe who governed a portion of Palestine at that time, he was still being raised up in a way that made him aware of his purpose and the dangers that was around him, and also the instruction that he was to receive to be able to carry out that mission. So when you talk about a blessing, even though Mary and Joseph went through 3 days of trepidation, when they found him being about his father's business. So for a parent today, when they see their child and they're raising them up in ways being upright, they know that even when that child is not in their sight, that they can feel confident that that child has been instructed in how to conduct themselves to carry out their mission in life. Peace.
Peace. Praise Allah. That's beautifully said. And I want to say thank you for that, because when my children leave the door, when they're leaving out in the morning and they leave in a staggered way, Brandon leaves out first, and then James and Michaela, and I always ask them, or pretty much tell them this question, ask them to remember who they are and whose they are. So when they're out there, because there's a lot, I've been doing some subbing in the high school and the middle school and elementary school here in our town, and there's only one middle school, one high school, and there's lots of children, and just it's been a blessing to spend time with other children, lessons. And so I'm really excited because I've learned a lot from them. If you spend time with children, spend a lot of time with them, you'll learn so much from them. And so I think I relax a little bit more now. I was really worried about them, and I think we do as parents. We worry about our children all the time, but I know that they're doing pretty great, so I can relax a little bit more. But yes, it's really key. I think we're teaching them, and I've told them too. Like, my job is to teach you how to do it, and then once you've got it, to not do it for you again. You've got it. It's time for you to walk on your own. Um, and so I just love that point. That brings us to next. When we go to in our chapter that for today, Holy Instructions for Thy Children, this last portion here, when it tells us, or this is key, right? The soil is thine own. Let it not want cultivation. The seed which thou sowest, that also shalt thou reap. So last week we talked about the uncultivated soil. And we talked about what if we were the wicked son and the wicked daughter and reproach to our fathers. Now, how do we teach our children differently? And so how can we teach our children if we're not ready? Like we're not prepared. We don't know the lessons. We don't know. So we're going to work on that today. Let's figure out how to do this together and get some ideas, or let's see what's worked. So please be open to share. In instruction 8, because we want to make sure that our soil is cultivated. It has to be cultivated to be able to prepare the soil and what that means with it. If let's start with 8, teach him obedience and he shall bless thee. We teach obedience because a lot of these things I'm going to tell you right now. When my daughter was in a this workout class, it was weightlifting a whole lot. It was just a week over the break, and she did such an amazing job in there. They did things I don't think I can do. But she pushed through. About midway, she was, was a little tired, but I made her go. Pushed, she went and she finished off strong. I was really proud of her. That taught her grit. GRIT, grit. You can't really teach grit. An example of something where you kind of just have to go through it and then you learn what grit is. And so, Brother I. Smith, I see a hand up.
Islam. Praise Allah and honor to his prophet, honor to each and every one of you. Can the Lord see me okay?
Yes, praise Allah.
Praise Allah. I was just considering, the topic and then the instruction that you read from instruction 6, where it says a wicked son is a reproach to his father, but he that doth right is an honor to his gray hairs. There's also instruction 7, when you're talking about the soil is thine own, let it not want cultivation. The seed which thou sowest, that also shalt thou reap. It brought me to, I believe it's in either chapter 2 or chapter 4, where it's talking about, where the prophet teaches us that, the child is as perfect as the mother is. And this concept really sticks out to me in this conversation because I know that so much of my moral view of the world or my character comes from my parents in terms of how they, set the foundation for how I should treat other people or how I should, have a standard for myself to be treated and how I, should want for myself how I want for what I want for others. And when you about like the parent as the first teacher, I think about how necessary it is to have those foundations to be able to go off into the world. But whenever I do, come into contact with different people and, I just try to carry myself in a high manner, I'm always reminded by people, strangers even, that, oh, your parents raised you right, or your grandparents raised you right, or your uncles and, your aunts or whoever was in your life was there. And that reminds me how important it is that, as parents or as brothers and sisters, as we look out for other brothers and sisters who have their own children, that, we can be examples when they may not have any. And I think that's just an important lesson for myself. I just wanted to share that with most. That's it, peace.
There. And I thought about our children are different. I think we all recognize, like, as parents, we recognize that. My oldest is nothing like my middle. My middle is nothing like my last child. 3 very children, but each unique in their own way. So I'm thinking about the land, cultivated soil, right? Because there are different types of land. We've got fallow land and we've got pastures. We have untouched areas and wetlands. We've got abandoned lands. There are different lands out there, different types of land and reasons that need cultivation. And there are benefits and challenges, but as we've seen so many examples that have to do with the land and tilling the land, and it has to be prepared. How do we prepare? What do we need to do to be able to teach obedience? How do we show obedience? What needs to be done so we can set examples that they can follow? And so it says here that we have to teach him obedience and he shall bless thee. Teach him modesty, and he shall not be ashamed. Now, can anyone give me an example of how do we teach obedience? Practical. Islam, Brother El Serrano Bay.
Islam.
Give the floor.
Islam. Praise Allah. What comes to mind is, many Sunday schools we speak about the saying that's often thrown around in our communities. Some maybe by our parents, some maybe by our friends' parents. But it's a saying of, do as I say and not as I do.
Mhm.
And oftentimes, there's another. Well, before I delve into that part, there's another saying that I came across recently that said, oftentimes as parents we say things like, we'll die for our children or we die for our families, and then the rest of the quote is, okay, I get it, you'll die for them, but would you live for them? Would you stop drinking for them? Would you work out for them? Would you change your diet for them? Would you do things that are more progressive in your life for them? And so when I think about teaching my daughter obedience, I think, well, first I have to be obedient. I have to exemplify the characteristics of someone who's being obedient. Whether I'm being obedient to Allah, or I'm taking instruction from my grand sheikhs, or I'm taking instruction from, the manager at the job, or, just those different aspects or examples to be able to physically show her what it looks like. So that's what comes to mind. Peace.
Yes, there's a lot. I'm going to thank you for that portion because it reminded me about going back to instruction 6 where it says the wicked son is a reproach to his father. And I'd ask that question, what if you were the wicked son? But now we're trying to raise our children the right way and do the right thing. So now what? And so I think that calls for reflection, some, maybe some correcting, and maybe some honesty, right? And even being able to use our experiences when we're talking to our children to describe, listen, I did this and I did that and I didn't, and as a result, being honest with them, to let them know that, and this is really big with me, I want my children to know that I'm human too. And I make mistakes. I have feelings. I have emotions, and I've made mistakes, and I didn't do this the right way, or I did this when I listened. So we are some of us, most of us, we are some of our experiences, the way we were raised by our parents, and we find ourselves in parenting or when we're working with youth, saying things that kind of come out of our mouths. And we're like, where did that come from? Do as I say, not as long as I do. Like, I don't know if we actually say that, but things that were said to us that come right out and think, whoa, who said that? Oh my goodness, that was me. I said it. And that was something I was raised with. And now I'm repeating it. And so is it really the best scenario? Maybe not. Maybe I need to do differently. I got to do better. This is a whole different generation, right? Like, I don't know. Taking away phones and TVs and I don't know if that's going to really work so much. I mean, might have to try a different approach for this generation. I see a hand by Brother A. Mitchell. Brother K. Turner Bay, Brother Spalding Bay, I'm gonna just have these brothers speak because I haven't heard from them. So Brother A. Mitchell Eel and then Brother K. Turner Bay.
Islam.
Islam.
Praise Allah and honor to His holy prophet, His holy and divine prophet, Noble Jew Ali. I give honor to Brother Marcus Garvey, the forerunner of the prophet. I give honor to the past Supreme Grand Advisors and moderators, the Sultan, Brother C. Kirkman Bey, Brother F. Nelson Bey, and Brother J. Blakely Bey. I give honor to the past Grand Sheikh of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Brother Arloville, and the current Grand Sheikh of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I give honor to all officials, national and local. I give honor, national, local, past, and present, and I give honor to whom is honor, all to whom honor is due, and to all things pertaining to Islam. And my thought comes to Act 7 in the Divine Constitution and Bylaws. All members promptly attend their meetings and become a part and parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you're entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must honor your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Morris Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Jew Ali, through the guidance of his father, God Allah. Acts 7 pretty much explains everything we got to do. If we're following that law, then our children are going to follow that law. They're going to see us following these laws. Just like I grew up seeing my parents. I never saw harsh language. And that's the two people that are behind me here.
Beautiful, beautiful. Praise all of them.
I didn't hear harsh language or see them out drinking and all this stuff. It never became a thing for me to want to do these things. They took care of the household, took care of me, so and so on. I tried to do the same thing for my children, and it's all part of the prophet's law as he expressed it there. Peace.
Peace. Praise Allah, Brother Immature. Honors to you for that demonstration. It was beautiful and well put. And thank you so much. And that the picture behind there is beautiful. So thank you for sharing that portion with us.
Thank you.
Brother K. Turner Bay. Oh, I see your hand by our sister Grand Sheikah, Sister Cecil's eel.
Islam. On the rise, giving praises to the great God Allah, honors to the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, and everything that pertains to Islam. I love the question because, reflection is the business of men, right? So I don't have no children of myself at this time, right? But I did, as a young child or young teenager, raise my 3 sisters. In fact, all their first words were my name, Corey. And I think I used the precepts that was taught to me by my Jehovah Witness grandmother, right? And just looking at that example, but once you're conscious, right? Meaning that you have understanding, right? Which is the treasures of Allah. When you look at this chapter, it speaks about in instruction 1, it says, prepare him early with instructions, right? And season his mind with the maxims of truth. So now we conscious. So we understand that obedience has 2 types of obedience. You got forced obedience or blind obedience, and then you got conscious obedience. And I believe the prophet is talking about conscious obedience. That means you use it understanding. You aligning out, which is our teachings and values, accountability. Then you could get into the other aspects, but it has to be like the brother said. They have to see it as well in action sometimes. Because in these days and times, sometimes it don't matter what you doing. They're their own person. Must be conscious. So they're their own individual, got their own brain, have their own thoughts, right? And what we tend to do is we try to control as much as we can, right? Knowing that if you're a parent or an older brother or uncle, you want control. And sometimes even me, I did it with my little nephew because he's hard, he's very, very hard-headed, right? But I had to step back and be like, no, I got to take another approach. And when I took this other approach, which was giving him the knowledge, he started listening more. He started being more attentive. So I said, wow, consciousness really do work. So when he talks about seasoning their mind with the maximum of truth, I believe we're all here as a purpose. And innately in us, we have an emotion, a drive for truth, right? Something just draws it. No matter if we believe, if it's truth, if it's really truth or not, if it sounds truth, we're still drawn to it. This human experience taught me that. So I believe that first instruction in instruction 3, it gives you the jewels on how to do it. We just have to use the understanding to give it to them conscious, which means we got to talk to them for real, like you said you do, Sister Treasurer. You have to be real with them, and you can't fake it because they conscious too, and they can see it. Because I believe some of them are here to teach us of things that we did to see if we really overcame it. You know? I don't want to take too long. Thank you for that question. Peace.
Peace. Thank you, Brother K. Turner Bay. I want to thank you because just a reminder to the more is that Brother Turner Bay teaches our civics Wednesday class, and what I love about that is my son is currently taking civics, is it teaches about where we need to take our place in affairs of men, and we talk about that, and that's one important factor. So even though, Brother Turner Bay, you don't have children, you are doing a part here in teaching. Even if you don't have children, you're still providing these lessons, and so I appreciate that. Especially watching, my son currently taking civics, so I can see the benefit of that.
Thank you, dear Sister Islam.
Sister Cecile's ill. Brother Spalding Bay, if you don't mind, I saw your hand and Sister Cecile's ill. If you don't mind yielding for our grand chiefess, please Allah.
Some of your sisters.
Just wanted to make sure the brother was all right with it. Islam Lords.
Islam.
Praise Allah to our prophet and honors to everything that our Sister Sunday School instructor, Sister J. Jordan, gave honors to. Honestly, I was just going to speak to those same concepts, right? Modeling the behavior, right? That concept of do as I say, not as I do. But I was also going to speak to something that I found to be important, just camel walking with the thoughts of what the Moors were saying or hinting to. We have two eyes, we have two ears, and we have one mouth, right? And that concept of the prophet spoke about watch the bent of his inclinations, right? And so that I think that that's a very important part in obedience, is that you have to observe your child. You have to know your child. You have to learn your child. You have to see when things are off. You have to see when the behaviors may shift, adjust, change. Learn certain things about them. Maybe take the time to see, maybe they're being bullied. Maybe there's things that's going on. Maybe they are bullying someone else. Maybe there's things that's happening that you need to observe to see where these triggers come from within your child. And these are things that you can generally learn from observation. And of course, it says a child of thy bosom. So this would be a child that's close to you. So this would be a child that I would be saying resides with you in the home, is with you consistently. You're able to observe them, right? And so that concept of observing, but also listening to the child, hearing their frustrations, right? Obedience shouldn't look like blind obedience anymore, right? They should want to understand and rationalize, right? Making the truth their own, if you will. Every tongue must confess their own. That concept of understanding, I think, is very important. But I think that children naturally follow people that they feel safe with, right? Or inspired by. And so I think that it's also important that we also mirror conflict, right? Because we're going to have challenges. Not a foe, a soldier never knows his strength. The more you are going to learn your strength on this plane of things made manifest, all right? One way or another. And so just with the thought behind it, how do you handle conflict with your child, right? It doesn't mean you might have to tell them, stop, that's enough, quiet, to the room. But it doesn't mean you leave it there. Now the time comes down, things have calmed down, and now you teach them how to properly address it. Now the reason why you shut it down could have been, listen, I realized that I was allowing myself to get really upset, or I realized that as you were communicating, your body language was changing. This is what I was observing. And so usually when those things happen, it lets me know that you're not at a place where you're able to listen, or I'm able to talk to you without my own passions being aroused, right? And so it's about recognizing and reflecting, letting them know, listen, as a parent, I am working on character. There's things that I may be working on, but when you do this, because of how much I love you and I care for you, I realize that it can be harder for me to control my passions or control my feelings or even my body language or facial expressions when you said this. And so I took a break. That's teaching them, all right, well, mom still has this challenge and what she's doing is X, Y, and Z. And at the same time, it's letting them know that these feelings happen, that this is not strange, that this is not now a reason to continue down this path, but methods of correcting that behavior. But and the last thing I'm going to say is it's important to be clear, to be calm, and to be consistent when you're talking to children. So you're going to do something, follow through on your word. Follow through. You're going to go get them some ice cream. Make sure you get them the ice cream. It's something as simple as it sounds, but it's teaching them to trust in what you say. You say, hey, we have this plan, we have this family event, or homework time is this, or even bedtime is this. You have to be consistent with them so that they can learn a pattern for their lives, right? So that they can understand that you mean what you say. And so I think that those, in addition to all the things that the Moors mentioned, that those are some of the things that I try to implement, with Sister M. Serrano Bay when I was taking care of my nieces and my nephews. It was very much the same thing. And they thrive a certain form of structure and balance, but there's an aspect of a reward, a trust, and a freedom that you have to give them back. Give them room to show that they've been able to hear, observe, and learn from what you've been teaching them. You have to give them room for trust. And so with that, I say thank you so much, dear sister. Beautiful Sunday school. Appreciate you. Peace.
Peace. Praise Allah.
Peace.
That for-
That person
It also reminded me
also
of
reminded me.
you say, I'm your friend. I'm not your friend, I'm your mother. Not your friend, I'm your parent. And I think about that. It's interesting. I wonder, right? It's just like, why? What's going on. So if you've spent some time, and I encourage parents, I really do, if you can, if you're able to substitute teach or spend some time in the school where your children are attending, or even in the environment, if they're in after school programs, just spend some time watching, pay attention, and just kind of look and see, because the pressures and the things they're dealing with, you got to know. You got to know what's going on. There are places where in first and second grade, the children are coming in, and they're dressed a certain way, or they've got nails done, hair done, and so I think about, and I think this definitely starts with the parents, right? It all comes down to the parents. What are we doing? What are we saying? What are we doing? And without judging each other, because parenting is hard. And as a mom, I totally understand when it says do what you say you're going to do. Because if you say you're going to take them for ice cream, they're looking forward to ice cream. And when you don't take them, the disappointment that sits in. So we want to be mindful of that. Brother F. Spalding Bay has his hand up. I see a hand of Brother El Serrano Bay. Brother I. Smithiel, did you want to say something, or I see you there? Okay, praise Allah. Brother F. Spalding Bay.
So here again, when we go into chapter 5, you see the example there when Jesus, was discovered in the temple. It says that he came back home and wrought with Joseph as a carpenter. You know that carpentry is a very honorable trade. You learn workmanship. There's character principles there. A lot of great things. So this is what Jesus was learning. So as a parent, if you have something in place that you can apprentice your child to, unfortunately, sometimes we see in the community where some parents and some families apprentice their children to being hustlers or taking things that don't belong to them and not giving it back. So, as a parent, we have to look at, I'm not a parent, but as an older person, we have to look at what example are we providing for our young ones. Obviously Joseph must have been a successful carpenter because they had to journey to Jerusalem and they spent time there. So obviously he had enough finance to be able to do that because he was putting in work. Jesus saw this. Those are the traits, those are the characters, and that's the workmanship that he learned. And this is the same thing that we want to be able to provide for our young people today. Show them, what it takes to survive in society. Not to take things, and then if you do take it, don't give it back, or are you earning your way? You know what I mean? So this is something us older people must do to be able to demonstrate to the ones behind us. This is what it takes to move forward in society. Peace.
Peace. Praise Allah. Thank you for reminding us of that. Thank you, dear brother. Brother El Serrano Bay.
Islam.
Islam.
Islam. Can you hear me, sister?
Yes, praise Allah.
Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Well, praise and honor is already given. I give honors to you, sister, because this is a wonderful conversation, and I think that this is something that many of us can take home and to have a certain level of appreciation for it. Because just because we're not parents, some of us might not be parents. Doesn't mean that we're not like a parent to someone. You might be an uncle, you might be an aunt, you might be a friend or someone who might be or play the role of a parental figure in someone's life. You might see the young person um, who is without guidance in the community. You might uh, find yourself in a position where you're playing a role to someone. You know, and I was thinking about us being the example, right? Our parents being the example, setting the tone for our children. And what came to mind was the holy instructions from the prophet, master and servant. And, I was thinking about just the different aspects in life that in some situations you might find yourself as the role of the master. And in some other situations, you might find yourself in the role as the servant, right? Or someone who's being obedient. And I was just thinking about instruction number 6. It says, "And thou who art a master, be just to thy servant, if thou expected from him fidelity and reasonable in thy commands, if thou expected ready obedience." And so you might find yourself in these different scenarios, and these are the key experiences or examples that can allow you to be the lesson for your children to see. And this, if you go into even the next chapter on magistrate and subject, it's pretty much the same thing. You might find yourself in the role of the magistrate, or you might find yourself in the role of the subject. And it says, instruction 1, O thou, the favorite of heaven, whom the sons of the Amen, thy equals, have agreed to raise to sovereign power and set as a ruler over themselves, consider the ends and importance of their trust far more than the dignity and height of thy station. So it's giving you the the tools that you would need, that if you find yourself in that role of a master or of that role of a magistrate or of that role of being the head of the household, that you have a responsibility. And then when you're in a marriage, Prophet Noble Ali, Acts 7, he says, wives must obey husbands, right? Take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. And so many times, we might, some of us might, take that or see that as that being some form of like dictatorship or some form of I don't want to say slavery, but just an unjust situation, right? But if you go into chapter number 21 and you go into instruction 17, it says, "She ariseth in the morning, she considers her affairs, she appointed to everyone their proper business." So you might find yourself as a husband or as a wife where you have to be obedient to the other. So if the sister says take out the garbage, you got to take out the garbage. If she says you got to clean the bathroom, you got to clean. She appointed to everyone their proper business. And so there's some situations where, the husband might be the master or the magistrate. And then in other situations, the wife is going to be the master or the magistrate. But it's being aware of when those situations arise, that it is an opportunity to teach the children. And just the final instruction, and then I'm gonna say peace. It says, and this is chapter 21, instruction 20. It says, "She informeth the minds of her children with wisdom. She fashioneth their manners from the examples of her own goodness." Peace.
Yes, that is right there. That goes back to what Brother A. Mitchell Gill was saying about if we follow the laws, follow the rules that have been laid out for us, if we live that life, that sets an example for our children to follow. So praise Allah for that. I'm just going to finish reading out this chapter and then come back to see the hands that are raised. So it says, we talked about in instruction 9, teach him gratitude and he shall receive benefits. Teach him charity and he shall gain love. Teach him temperance and he shall have health. Teach him prudence, and fortune shall attend him. Teach him justice, and he shall be honored by the world. Teach him sincerity, and his own heart shall not reproach him. Teach him diligence, and his wealth shall increase. Teach him benevolence, and his mind shall be exalted. Teach him science, and his life shall be useful. Teach him religion, and his death shall be happy. And so, one thing that I appreciate listening, Brother El Bay, to listening to him speak and teach as our Sunday school instructor. And on Friday, our Holy Day sister Jones Bay read a chapter, and I just remembered how wonderful it is to just listen to being read to. I know it is as simple as it sounds, just being read to, because I learn a different way. Repetition helps. And so we can go through the questionnaire over and over, but I also like to listen to it. So I listen to it on my music app. I can listen to it. It's on YouTube. So I play it sometimes in the house, and it's really good to just pound in these points. So I was thinking, I'm taking stock in our current generation where we're at looking. I get surprised if I go into a classroom in the middle school and I hear the wildest things. Okay. And class starts at 7 a.m. and we are saying some things in there. They shock me. And I wonder if there's so many thoughts about where it's coming from, and do your parents know that you talk like this, or, it's just lots of thoughts, but I just wonder a lot about the current state of our youth, the current state of of the nation that we're raising. And so I see some hands up. I saw a hand, Brother I. Smithiel. Islam? Islam, brother.
Islam, dear sister. I just had two hands, one from the Grand Governor, Brother D. and then one from Sister.
Islam. I just wanted to share something with the Moors. Islam. The prophet in this, praise Allah and honor the prophet Noble Drew Ali. The prophet in this chapter begins by saying, consider thou art a parent. The importance of thy trust, the being thou hast produced, it is thy duty to support. And I know Sister Jordan spoke about consider, why should we even have to be told that? The word consider, you have to look at the word. Consider. Cum, or cum in Latin, means with. Sider is a word. Sidus, S-I-D-U-S, sideris, which is S-I-D-E-R-I-S. So you're putting that conjunction of cum, meaning with, to sideris, which means star or constellation of stars. Consider thou art a parent. The prophet says that about Allah. He said with his fingers, he describes the courses of the stars. When a spirit is incarnated on this earth, there are certain things in place. The stars are aligned in a certain position. The mission of that spirit has already been described. The being thou hast produced, we are creators and make our own. If you want to have a doctor, if you want to have a scientist, if you want to have a minister, we used to be able to have the ability to plan when we had our children. I was fortunate enough through Allah's blessing. When my children were even conceived, I knew when they were conceived. And my wife and I had 4 children every year. And I was dealing with these Capricorn children and these Earth children. I had a Pisces and then a Taurus. Man, listen, some of these spirits are very difficult to deal with as a parent. And the word parent comes from the Latin word pare. Parent means to prepare. The prophet gives you the definition in the word. He goes on later on in the chapter, says that prepare him early with instruction. The word parent comes from the Latin word meaning they prepare. So having those 4 children, when I started with my oldest daughter, and then me and Sister Phillips Bay had my youngest child together, I said, I got to do something. I'm going to tell you, Morris, I planned to have a Gemini because I needed something to even this out. And my daughter, Jael, almost didn't make it. She was born on June 20th, the last day. I was like, praise Allah. My point is that we got to get back to that state of mind of our forefathers, where we do things specifically based upon the laws of the universe, based upon our relationship with Allah. If you want to create a certain type of business, then you need to know when the stars align for that particular type of business to be created. When is it that we make a move? When do we do this? When do we do that? And then what the prophet does in this chapter, just to tell you, consider, we're talking about using the stars. We're talking about using the universal knowledge that Allah has opened before us. Because our children are the guidance of the nation. And then what he does toward the end, as the sister read, he gives us 12 maxims. 12 more. Teach him obedience, right? Teach him obedience, and he shall bless thee. Obedience is Mars. Obey. I'm not going to change anything that the prophet said. I'm not doing that. But when you study the science, you understand that Aries is the Mars energy that teaches obey. He says, teach him as the second. Modesty, where's it? I'm trying to read it. I know what it is, but I want to read it. Teach him modesty, and he shall not be ashamed. Learn to be modest. Don't live beyond your means. Modesty. Taurus is the house of finance. If you live within your means, you will not be ashamed. Teach him gratitude. My point to you, more, I'm not going to map out all 12, is that you need to study the words of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Consider thou art a parent. It's more to this than just looking and reading the words. Study the words. The prophet said about every jot or tittle. He said, every word I speak is spirit, and you Moors had better heed. So if we understand this, then we need to understand what these spirits that we have placed in our charge. Your child, when you name your child, my son Hezekiah has gone through so many things in life, so many hard times in life, my son Hezekiah. And I didn't realize that when my wife and I named him Hezekiah, that the name Hezekiah means Allah is my strength. So when you name that child, you are bringing on the characteristics that they will live. So consider thou art a parent. The prophet tells us about certain things, about what names, certain names not to name your son. You know, the prophet tells us that. You know, I just wanted to bring that out because this goes so much deeper than just your regular grammar and literature. This is the Moorish Science Temple of America, and the Prophet Noble Drew Ali is giving us the science. This universal science is all in his Holy Koran. So do your part and study in every single word so you come to a better and greater understanding of how to apply the teachings of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Peace.
Islam.
Islam, Sister J. Jordan. At this time, Sister Cecile, she wanted to yield for Sister B.
Oh, beautiful. Praise Allah.
Praise God.
It's wrong. I rise and I give praise to Allah. I give unto our holy prophet, noble to our lead. I give honor to everything that the chairman gave honor to. You know, praise Allah. I give honor to each and every one of the Moorish Americans here today. You know, consider thou art a parent, the importance of thy trust, the being thou hast produced, it is thy duty to support. I think where the world has gone awry is that it's like in the chapter where the prophet tells us about marriage instructions for man and wife, for the noble prophet. There used to be a time when you considered who you were going to marry.
Mm-hmm.
And when you considered who you were going to marry, you didn't just marry a person. You went to see their parents and their family. You asked questions about what lineage did their family come from. Who were they? So everything goes awry because everybody's just marrying or having marriage instructions. They're not even having marriage instructions. They're just getting together. So how can you consider to be a parent when you didn't even consider to be a husband or a wife? It's not possible. It's not possible. And that's why we have children who are so mixed up emotionally in themselves because they don't know who they are. Got too much mixed in there. So unless we get back to how the prophet, Noble Juwali, has instructed us, father, mother, sons, and daughter, how are you going to raise some children? How are you going to give them all of these divine instructions? How? You can't. You really can't because it's too mixed up. And that's why the prophet has come to save us so that we could correct what has been wrong, so that we do have a divine father, mother, sons, and daughters. And then again, how can anybody talk about a husband and a wife if you've never been a husband or a wife? Because everything is experience. So if you're a husband and you're living with your wife, how are you going to know how she is if you're not there to see it? How are you going to know who she is if you don't have that secret moment with her that Allah gives to man and wife that no one else knows? There's an energy that only the husband and wife knows, and other people can think that they know that husband and wife so well. No, you don't. You can't. Because that's how husbands and wives become one. Because their energies have merged together. When you're with people that you think you want to be with, if you don't know how to take their energy out of your being because of intimacy, then you got all that baggage with you. So you don't have no room for anybody else to get in there because you didn't clear your space. So when we're teaching these teachings, if you don't have experience about being a husband and wife, how can we really speak about it? The ones who should be speaking about it are those who are husbands and wives, and if they don't have it right, then they should sit down and let someone who has it pretty much right. Because we don't want our children to reproach their own selves. Prophet says a wicked son is a reproach to his father. But then again, he turns around, if I'm not mistaken, and he says, you don't want your own child to reproach itself. Because your own self is going to tell you, perception of thyself and the worship that thou owest unto him are not these claims before thy face. And what more is it that man needs to know? So we have to, in my thoughts of the prophet's teachings, we got to do better as husband, wives, sons, and daughters. And as Brother Cargill said, which is really true, you can create what child you want at what time you want that child to come. But it's a flip side to it too, because I did the same thing. And what I thought, I carried everybody off so that no one would be on earth by themselves. But what happened was when they got here and they merged with their own siblings, they merged with each other. You know, it's really a paradox. Praise Allah.
Yes. Praise Allah. Sister B. Williams, I want to thank you for sharing that. I was doing some deep reflection when you said that, because I was thinking, like, one thing I've learned so far is that you can change your mind. You can do differently. You can turn around and you can do a 180, right? So maybe right now we might not, maybe we did the wrong thing or made a mistake or something. You can show that you are human, show that, the error of your ways, and make speedy reparations. Those are examples. That's a good way. Maybe you said something that you shouldn't have said, or in a way you shouldn't have said it. And being able to apologize to our children. I think that's also a beautiful lesson in it too, in it as well. And the soil is thine own, right? Let it not want cultivation. So I started off by saying, we were talking about the uncultivated soil. We have got to be prepared, and we've got to know what we need to do to be able to teach these things. And it starts with in ourselves. And you're right, I can't teach a man to be a husband. I can't teach a man to be a father. But I look at my daughter and I think some things or decisions I've made, especially recently, are because of my children and because I want differently for them. And so when I said that, when my mom said to me, you will understand differently when you're a mom, that hits home 100%. It's so different. It's so different. The sacrifices, the choices, the decision making. And it's bigger. It is bigger because I can't do certain things and not expect my children to look and see. And they're always watching. We all know our children are always watching. Even when we think they're not looking, they're watching. Even when they're younger and they see you do it one time, and all of a sudden they know how to open the cabinets, they know how to unzip the zipper, they know how to get into things we try to keep them out of, rooms, how to unlock doors. And once they start walking, right? That's it. It's a wrap. So there's so much there. I want to thank all of the Moors for their participation. This is not a one and done conversation, that's for sure. But I want to thank the Moors for their participation in Sunday school. And I wanted to leave some time. I know it's 3:30. We're entering secretary time. So I'm going to turn this over to our chairman, Brother I. Smith Eo. And I want to thank the Moors for their time and for their participation. I really honor it. Praise Allah. Peace and love, Moors.
Peace and love. Peace and love. Praise Allah. I'd like to thank our dear sister, Sister J. Jordan, the Assistant Sunday School Instructor for Percent number 34, for leading and conducting today's Koran class. And honestly, each and every one of the Moors who listened, all those who demonstrated and contributed their thoughts to this uplifting class. It's a blessing to be here to learn, because we're all Moorish children. So we're all teaching one another. We're all learning from our Father God Allah, who guided our holy and divine prophet, who is our master. Praise be to Allah. At this time, before we transition to Secretary's time and lower the meeting, I'd like to call on Brother D. Clark Yu, Grand Governor of the State of New York, to read the proclamation. Islam.
January 15, 1929, Prophet warns all Muslims. Governors ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or in the streets, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, and freedom. And when these principles are violated, justice then must take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card, button, cease wearing their turban or fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet, Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sins by order of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Peace.
Peace. Islam? Yes. Praise Allah. At this time, we go with the meeting in the Secretary's time. This is the opportunity for the Moors to hear about the announcements that we have going around the nation, as well as within the state, as well as locally. It's also an opportunity for the Moors to contribute their dues, as well as their assessments and any donations. At this time, if she's available, I'd like to call on the Secretary for Moors Sign Supplement number 34, Sister J. Jordan Neal. She may be able to share any announcements. Islam, sister.
Islam, praise and honor is already given. I'm going to keep the announcements brief because I wanted to give some time for the Moors to ask any questions they had and secretary time. So just to let the Moors know, if you want to pay your dues or make donations, you can do so through Cash App, PayPal, or Zelle. Cash App, our handle is $MSTA34. That's $MSTA34. If you want to do it through PayPal or Zelle, you can use our email. It's mooresciencetemple.no.34@gmail.com. Please make include in the note section what you're sending in and where you'd like it to go towards. Additionally, if your handle is not readily identifiable, please put your name into the note so we can know where it's coming from as well. Just some basic reminders for the Moors that Friday is our holy day for all Muslims all around the world. And on Friday, we come together for our holy day meeting, and that's at 7:30 p.m. If you are unable to make your meeting in person, please let your Grand Sheik or Grand Sheikess know. Additionally, we come together on Sunday for Sunday school, as we did today, from 2 to 4 o'clock. And just a few more reminders. Moors, we have a Q&A conference call line on Thursdays where you can dial in and ask questions. And that is at 7:30. That's facilitated by our assistant Grand Sheik, Brother W. Clendenin Bey. And you can call and ask any questions that you have or listen in to the Moors around the nation as they give their portion. And just be able to ask questions that might be on your mind or that you've been wondering as well. Lastly, we have our civics class. I mentioned that earlier on Wednesdays, every other Wednesday, and that's facilitated by our Brother K. Turner Bay, who you were able to hear from today. And you can discuss matters related to civics. Please come prepared to participate, as our dear brother will call on you, but also be willing to listen in and share your portion as well. It's just an hour. The conversations are really good. And so we ask that you join on time so that you can get the full blessing that conversation. It's really good. So praise Allah for that. As we have our prophet's birthday, we are celebrating, and we are coming together, all the temples, Temple 21, Temple 54, and Temple 34. We will be coming together on Thursday, January 8th, for the prophet's birthday from 2 to 4 o'clock p.m. I'm going to go ahead and put into our chat these announcements so that if you need the dial-in number for the conference call on Thursday, you can get it from there. Additionally, if you are on Facebook, we have our Facebook pages. We have a private page and we have a public page. We also have our Facebook chat, and it's under Moorish Sign Symbol 34, where we post information that's timely as well for the Moors around the nation. With that, I am going to thank the Moors for listening. And with that, I will say peace. Peace and love, Moors.
Hmm? I'm gonna get whatever you said you wanted something. I'm going now. Definitely almost over. Mm-hmm.
That's why Brother Rebels Bay, you're muted, brother.
It's brother. Cynthia, I know you are over there. I did see a hand up by Brother J. Coleman Eel, and I do see Brother K. Richardson Eel as well. Our dear brother. So I'm hoping, and I see Sister Aaliyah and Nova. I just appreciate having you guys on. Sister Jones Bay, I just want to also thank you for the time that you spent last Sunday. You gave us such a good demonstration, and I just appreciate that. Let me keep thinking about it today. So more, I appreciate all the Moors that were able to make their meetings, and I look forward to seeing you all as well on Thursday. With that, I'll turn it back over to you, Brother Esmithil.
Peace, peace. Peace. Praise Allah. I'd like to thank our dear sister, Sister J. Jordan, Secretary of Moore Science Summit number 34, for sharing today's announcements. And see one hand from Brother J. Coleman and then Brother K. Richardson. Some Brother J. Coleman.
I would like to kneel to my brother K. Richardson.
Praise Allah. Islam, Brother K. Richardson.
Islam, first arise, giving praise to the great God Allah, to give honor to his holy and divine prophet, give honor to everything that pertains to Islam. Peace. Was there a question, brother, that was raised?
Oh, Islam. I just know that the secretary, she said that you may have had a hand up. I didn't know if you had a comment or a question you had or wanted to make.
No, I didn't have a comment or anything, but Islam to the board, please.
Praise Allah.
Islam.
Islam, J. Jordan.
Praise Allah, Islam. I just wanted to thank Brother K. Richardson for participating, and just all the more as Brother Cyrus Zeal and to Brother Y. Cyrus Zeal. The reason I mentioned Brother K. Richardson because I was reminded of something. My now 14-year-old, I think about the example for becoming a Moorish American in Temple 34 that was laid out for him and by the temple, by all the Moors. And the examples that you set, sometimes it's really hard to know your impact on others unless we tell you. And so I wanted to share that. For him, he regards the Moors so highly. And I want to thank the Moors that set examples and set the tone. And so Brother K. Richardson Eel, Brother Y. Cyrus Eel, Brother W. Clinton Bay, and Brother El Serrano Bay, all of the brothers have set such a wonderful tone for him that he understands. He looks up to you all, and he is able to see. Okay, well, this is how we're supposed to carry ourselves. This is how we stand on our square when we show up to our meetings. This is how we should present ourselves, and that's important because it's one thing as a mom to try to reiterate, and we're here, we're fussing, make sure you put this on, and where's your fez, and we're making sure. But then to have the example shown, that's so important. So I want to thank the Moors for the demonstration that you set forth because it does set the tone for them, and they know that, and they've said that to me many times. So I just wanted to let you all know that it's not just that we are, our responsibilities individually to our children, but we all carry that. How we dress, how we walk, how we talk, what we're doing. And as a movement, what we haven't talked about this, but what do we need to do as a temple for our young people as well? How do we teach these lessons as well as a temple? How we, I feel just thoughts as I was thinking about this lesson that came to me, just what do we need to do, or where are we falling short? Are we falling short? Programs that we need to have. What are some ideas the Moors have? So these are just things that popped in my mind that I wanted to share with the Moors. And last week I mentioned this. Like, there are instructions that maybe they reverberate in our minds that come to us, especially in situations that we find ourselves in, and if there are instructions that you would want to share, is there anything specific that you drill down on in your own home or with your own self that you would want to share? So, Morris, I'm just, throwing some things out there just to keep the conversation going. But I'll turn it back over to you, dear Chairman. Peace.
Peace, peace, and praise Allah. And thank you again, dear sister, for all of your instructions and for your demonstration. Islam, my apologies. I did have a hand from Brother J. Comino before, and then I'll call yourself to Brother Islam, Brother J. Comino.
Islam. First, I want to rise and give praise to Allah and honors to the Prophet. And I want to give honors to everything that the chairman give honors to. And honors to Sister Jordan Hill, for your wisdom as a mom. Praise Allah. First and foremost, I would like to turn your attention to the holy covenant of the Asiatic nation. Starting with instruction 1, ye are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breasts of one mother have given you suck. Let the bonds of affection therefore unite thee with thy brothers, that peace and happiness may dwell in thy father's house. And when we separate in the world, remember the relations that bonded you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of thy father contribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued to you all, and your love to each other. Peace.
Peace.
I just want to say one thing, as a parent, sometimes it's hard, just to be a parent, but you learn just by your experience every day, just learning and praying to the Almighty God Allah for patience and guidance. Just like they said, as a parent, your child is always watching you. Everything you do, they're watching you. You how to open up the gate, how to do a lot of things, but as a parent, it takes time. You just gotta just have patience for yourself. Once you have that patience, just keep your hand in Allah's hand, all will be well, Peace.
Peace, peace. Praise Allah. Islam. So I did have a hand from Brother N. Rashid Bey, and then Sister Ganshikis. So Brother N. Rashid Bey.
Islam. Islam.
I have to give praise to the mighty God, Allah. I have to give honors to the illustrious prophet, Noble Jew Ali, everything that pertains to Islam. I have to give honors to Marcus Garvey and all the Moors that are across the nation, all over the world, nation of the United States of America, teaching us how to live for ourselves and letting us know how we are, who we are, and why we are. I thank the Moors for letting me speak. I think the love that the Most High has shown me, showing me once again how to love. Say, regardless what denomination they're out there, the Israelites, the Wahabian nation, that the Malakaziyot, the Rastafarians. I walked with many different groups of people, and I've always saw that it's one thing. My third eye was open. We all have that ability to walk with that light. We just have to accept that light, so we can show others the light, so they won't be afraid of the light and not shun their way away from the light. Islam.
Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Thank you, dear brother. I appreciate you for your message. And I'd like to give honors to you, as well as giving honors to dear brother J. Comnia for his reading of chapter 25, Holy Covenant of the Asiatic Nations. Honors to each and every one of the Moors for their continued contributions and demonstrations. It's the Secretary's time. I'd like to recognize any other hands, if there's any other comments or questions. Sister Cecile Zil.
Islam. Praise Allah, honor to our prophet. I was just hearing all the different perspectives, right? As we listened to our brothers and our sisters from our respective other New York temples, right? There's a different understanding that I think also comes, right? So consider thou our parent, right? We all know ye are the children of one father, as our brother just read, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother have given me suck. But think of the wealth of knowledge and information that's available to us in the Moorish Science Temple of America, right? So think about us being a state, New York State, but how many more are within the state that have been in the temple for a period of years, have different experiences, different ways to reflect the message of the holy and divine prophet, and think about how that could be of a benefit to us. And so I just wanted to give honors to our brothers and our sisters from temple number 21 and temple number 54 respectfully, because there's a deeper appreciation that I think that we can get when we come together like this. And it's not just for a prophet's birthday celebration. It's not just for a major Moorish American holiday, but it's for the sake of us coming together under one divine thought, right? Allah and the prophet, the one, in that oneness, but coming together. So I just hope that we're able to do this, right? We're able to have these kind of Sunday schools, that we're able to have a unified rotational Sunday school with different Sunday school instructors. You know, we just heard our grand governor as he broke down aspects of Latin and how it connects back to the astronomy at large, as it reflects back to the zodiac law and zodiac sciences. But then we can also hear from our brothers and our sisters who learn from the breath work, the body, the energies, right? We can hear from our brothers and our sisters who may learn from a more tangible perspective, right? Relating back to the hard concrete, bricks and mortars, the family, the home, the finances, just certain things that can be more so tangible for everyone. But the importance of us coming together and once again, listening, exercising our five senses. And, you know, I know the boys always, you know, I had a question, you let me exercise my five senses. And, you know, I said, and I thought about it, talking is not one of the senses. It's just not one of the five senses. So I just want to once again just give honors to also our assistant Sunday school instructor, Sister Jay Jordan Hill, who does a wonderful job. I also just, you know, give a quick moment of validation as to why we have one Sunday school instructor that I think is important to have on a Zoom platform, because we have the Moors that are on Zoom. And it's easy to get disengaged. And I think it can be a lot more challenging for those, especially when we have youth and we have children, and you can't just kind of sit in and you can be heard. You can be spoken to from the same level and viewpoint, right? Vantage point. She's also on with the Moors. And I just value the input that you all add and that you all give. May Allah be pleased with you all. May Allah be pleased with your families, with the beautiful youth, all right? I say praise Allah for the parents and their work, right? And for the youth doing the work, because there comes a point in being a child where you are no longer a child, right? Where you're now responsible for some of your actions. There comes a point where now your mom and your dad has placed all these things within you, and yes, we might have even passed on a little bit of trauma-based learning, right? You might have learned some of our traumas, but when it talks about love being the only savior of the world, if you see nothing else in your parents, look for that love as the driving force behind their actions, guidance, and direction. And continue to look for the best in yourselves. The youth, give yourselves grace. This is a whole nother generation. Everyone has tablets, phones. When I was a baby, you know, we had the fake phones that did the little sounds in the background. It was all plastic, right? Now these youth have access to all kinds of information, a wealth of knowledge. They have access. And honest to those who came before us that made that possible for the generations coming forth, but also let's respect our youth. Let's respect their minds. Let's respect that there's a spirit of a man within them. Let's just give each other that mutual love and respect with a level of balance and discipline. With that, I'll say peace, and thank you for that moment, Brother Jimmy.
Peace, peace. Praise Allah. Thank you. Praise Allah. Thank you, dear sister Grand Shikis, for your contribution and your thought as well. And I'd like to call on our dear sister Arab and Nabe before calling you again to read today's financial report. Islam, dear sister Arab Nabe.
Islam. I want to also echo some of the thoughts that were said before, because I think it's so important. You know, first of all, the Prophet said, you know, men need a pattern for their lives. And that's not just adults, that's children. They need a pattern for their lives. And with that pattern, they're able to see. So I want to give honor to all of the brothers and sisters that are in the temple, because your pattern is what the children look at, what we all look at. And, the prophet says in here, the gifts of the understanding of the treasures of Allah, and he appointed every one his portion, what measure seemeth good unto himself. And so everyone's portion, as the Grand Sheikh spoke about, it made me think about everyone's portion is gifted from Allah. It's a treasure. And how he reveals to each of us on our path is important through unity, because we may hear something that inspires us to be able to then see it a little differently, to be able to grow it another differently. And I thought the chapter, and I just want to say thank you to Sister Jordan for being able to lead the meeting, but it made me think about your original question, the whole meeting, about the importance of our ancient forefathers and the importance of, who they are, who we are. And it brought me to our chapter 2 and the education of Mary and Elizabeth's zone in Egypt. And I always think about, I'm going to give honor to Brother Amber Robles, my father, because, he always speaks about, we're all going through challenges in life, but what chapter are you on? What chapter are you supposed to be deep? What chapter is going to unlock for you? And so it made me think about this chapter because, Mary and Elizabeth had this major responsibility. And he said in page 6 and 7, Elihu said, it is not strange. There are no happenings, law, governments, all events. From olden times, it was ordained that you should be with us and in the sacred school be taught. When our brother Grand Governor spoke about it, it was ordained that we were all here. It was ordained that we're the parents. It was ordained for us to have this. So now let me go back and look at what my ancient forefathers and sisters had for us and what the job was. And it says you've been, I'm going to skip through here because I know time. But in 10, it said, Elihu said to Mary and Elizabeth, you may esteem yourselves thrice blessed, for you are chosen mothers of long promised sons who are ordained to lay a solid rock, a sure foundation stone on which the temple of the perfect man shall rest, a temple that shall never be destroyed. And I think about the honor that we have as parents, that we have to lay that rock. And as many of us are going to traverse, and I know I grew up in the temple, there's many of us are going to be in here, but it's a individual journey with your journey to Allah. And some will be here, some are going to fade, some are going to wane, we're going to go through many. But as a parent, we have that responsibility to do that for them. And so I want to just say thank you for this wonderful conversation. I pray that we do have many more Sunday schools, many more moments where we're together in the state of New York, because it is important to get everyone's portion of understanding so that we can help one another in this great nation. Peace.
Peace. Praise Allah.
Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Thank you to Sister Arab and Abe for your contribution, your demonstration as well. Also, each and every one of the brothers and sisters, and all the parents and all the children for their efforts, for striving to try to make themselves better. It's a blessing because our prophet tells us that we have to give our children the ability to think forward, look towards a nobler life. And as brothers and sisters here, we're doing exactly that. So praise be to Allah. At this time, I'd like to call on the Grand Sheikh, Sister Cece Ozil, that she may be able to read today's financial report in attendance.
Islam. I'll be reading this report to you as the acting assistant treasurer. Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated, Prophet Noble Drew Ali founder, Brother C. Kirkman Bey, first Supreme Grand Advisor and moderator. Past, Brother F. Nelson Bey, past Supreme Grand Advisor and moderator. Brother J. Blakely Bey, past Supreme Grand Advisor and moderator. Brother R. Laville, former Grand Sheikh of the MST of A. Brother R. Jones Bey, Grand Sheikh of the MST of A. Temple number 34, 237-239 Hancock Street, Brooklyn, New York, 11216. Date, January 4th, 2026. Finance received. We have public collections at $65. We have literature and supplies at $14. We have uplifting fund at $23. We have a donation of $6. We have the local building fund at $21. We have the Sisters Auxiliary at $20. We have the attendance of 26 online and 10 in person, leaving us with a total attendance of 36. Grand total for today is $149.
Peace. Peace. Praise Allah. For the reading of the financial report and attendance was the will and pleasure of the Moors. Son, Brother C. Ferguson.
Rise to give praise to Allah and honor to the Prophet. Give honor to everything pertaining to Islam. I move that the financial report be accepted with the necessary correction. If there is any correction, it will be in.
Praise Allah. Peace. It was moved by Brother C. Ferguson that the financial report and attendance, January the 4th, 2026, be accepted with the necessary correction of there being. Can I receive a second?
Islam.
Son, Brother D. Second. Islam. It was moved by Brother C. Ferguson Neal, seconded by Brother D. Clark Neal, that the financial report and attendance of January the 4th, 2026 be accepted with any necessary corrections if there be any. You read the motion. Are you ready for the question?
Question.
All those that approve the financial report and attendance, please show by the Morse way of voting. All opposed, same sign. Praise the Lord. Like Secretary, note that the motion has been carried.
Yay.
Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Praise Allah. I'd like to thank each and every one of the Moors for their contributions physically, spiritually, and financially. Give honors to each and every one of you for all the striving that you do in your everyday lives during the 7-day week, the 7-day year. Give honors to each and every one of the Moors who weren't able to join us, but who had the thought of Allah, the Prophet, and the temple on their mind. And I pray that Allah continues to protect us and guide us as He is our salvation. Islam Sister Grand Sheikh, any last words?
Islam Moors will be gathering again here on Thursday to celebrate Prophet Noble Drew Ali's birthday together in unison. We are planning to come out again, if the Moors are able, Tuesday evening. But we would like if the Moors can come maybe on Wednesday, and we can do whatever last touch-ups and final cleanups. I know today we'll be doing some hands-on work, and so as you can see, the brothers and sisters did come out, boots on the ground, ready to help assist and look over some things. Some of the Moors also brought in some supplies and some things that we may need to be able to just kind of get things squared away. I just also want to give honor to Sister J. Jordan Neal, as our sister was also conducting our Sunday school. She was also completing the shopping for the children. So she did let me know that she was able to gather the things that were needed for the youth for the Prophet's birthday celebration. So once again, just want to give honors to the Moors, just Islam, so my brothers and my sisters who again came out for the Sunday school and who will be here with us for the Prophet's birthday celebration. The color we chose to go with this time around was blue and gold. Blue and gold, as was painted during the time of Brother Y. Cyrus Hill, Brother W. Klajenebe. The blue and gold, we're going to just pretty much be matching the view of the temple. Moors, if you don't have it, it is all right. Prophet said just to look your best. The Moors are just encouraged to come on out, support, and engage with their brothers and their sisters as we observe and celebrate our holy and divine Prophet. Thank you, Brother Chairman, for your support and for your work. Peace.
Peace. Praise. 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 All rise. Face the east. Feet at a 90-degree angle. There's 5 fingers on the left hand, 2 on the right. Repeat the Morse prayer after our grand chief. This is C. Seal Zeal.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
The Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth. Peace.
Peace.
Freedom. And justice. Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide. And my salvation. By night. And by day. Through his holy prophet. Drew Ali. Amen.
Peace.
Shalom, Moors. Peace and love.
Peace, Moors. Peace and love.
Peace, Moors.
Recommend to me by
Love and peace to the Moors.
I'll get my own copy.
Bring it in. That's my chairman. Thank you for thinking.
Islam, Brother Salemu Bey.